In the 1850s, British railway engineers laying tracks between Karachi and Lahore discovered a massive supply of perfectly baked, uniformly shaped bricks. They used this free ballast to level the ground, crushing thousands of ancient artifacts under miles of iron rail, unaware they were destroying the remains of a forgotten civilization. It took 70 years for archaeologists, beginning in 1921 at Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, to realize the true scale of what lay beneath the dirt. They were excavating the sprawling metropolises of a vast, interconnected lost world, the Indus Valley Civilization. This map shows the civilization's staggering geographic footprint. It covered roughly 1 million square kilometers, stretching across modern-day Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. The Indus Valley occupied a territory larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. For thousands of years, the world had no memory of this empire. Humanity had entirely forgotten one of its largest and most sophisticated founding societies. As the excavations progressed, archaeologists noted the absence of typical ancient power structures. There are no grand palaces here, there are no royal tombs, and no massive stone monuments erected to honor a single ruler. The soil also lacked the typical debris of early empires. Diggers found virtually no weapons, no armor, and no archaeological evidence of a standing army or mass warfare. Millions of people lived across this territory for centuries, maintaining an incredibly high level of organization. This leaves us with a central question. How do you govern an empire without the typical tools of a king, a military, or a state religion? The Indus Valley directed immense resources into civil engineering. Cities were laid out on rigid grids. This standardization reached the smallest level. Bricks in Mohenjo-Daro perfectly matched dimensions of bricks hundreds of miles away, proving an empire-wide manufacturing system. Their largest public structure is the Great Bath. This massive pool features descending stairs and a waterproof coating, suggesting communal gatherings focused on hygiene rituals. Below the streets, they engineered a sophisticated network of covered brick drains. Nearly every home had its own bathroom, connecting to street-level drainage channels equipped with designated manholes for maintenance and cleaning. The archaeological record describes a society that prioritized collective health and civil engineering over the glorification of individual leaders. Without armies for expansion, the Indus people relied on an agricultural surplus. They grew wheat, barley, and peas, and were the first to cultivate cotton. This surplus fueled long-distance trade. In Gujarat, the massive brick-lined basin of Lothal served as a sophisticated dockyard, allowing ships to trade directly with Mesopotamia. This diagram shows how they regulated an international economy without minted currency. They used a strictly standardized weight system. Merchants throughout the territory used identical stone weights that scaled in multiples of 16, ensuring consistent measurement for every transaction. Goods were tracked using carved steatite seals featuring local wildlife, like this one-horned animal, acting as trade identity markers. Above the animal sits a pictographic script. Despite a century of study, we have not deciphered a single sentence. Art portrays mysterious figures like the so-called priest king. Lacking any inscriptions or symbols, we cannot know if he was a ruler or an ordinary citizen. The ubiquity of trade tools leads many researchers to suspect a governing merchant class, but without a readable written record, their laws and specific form of leadership remain unknown. For decades, historians believed this society was violently wiped out by an invasion of nomads from the north, often called the Aryan invasion. Mid-20th century archaeologists like Mortimer Wheeler supported this theory by citing a few scattered skeletons found in the streets of Mohenjo-Daro. They interpreted these remains as victims of a sudden mass battle. Modern DNA analysis of ancient skeletons has invalidated this narrative. The genetic record shows no evidence of a sudden influx of foreign DNA at the time of the collapse, and forensic studies reveal the bodies found in the streets were buried at different times, not during a single conflict. The invasion theory was largely a projection of modern assumptions about ancient warfare. It distracted from the much slower, devastating environmental factors that were the actual cause of the civilization's end. This graph shows a devastating shift in the planet's climate. Around 1900 BCE, The monsoons that watered the Indus Valley weakened and became dangerously erratic. As the rains failed, major rivers like the ancient Saraswati began to dry up. This ruined the agricultural foundation that supported the empire's cities and trade networks. The urban centers were slowly abandoned as riverbeds turned to dust. Starving populations fractured and migrated toward the east and south, leaving the grand cities to be reclaimed by the desert. The Indus Valley proves that millions of people can build a sophisticated urban life without kings or conquest. It also serves as a reminder that even the most meticulously engineered society remains entirely at the mercy of the climate it is built within.